from Rogers City to Tawas City and all points in between. This is Northeast Michigan's award-winning news team, your source for news, weather, and sports. We are WBKB News at...
Family members organized a black tie and sci-fi event that took place tonight at the Besser Museum in honor of Mitch Tolgetsky. Good evening, I'm Ashley Reed. Tolgetsky of Alpena took his life on March 16th at the age of 41 after a battle with paranoid schizophrenia. During his illness, he was very active in drawing. The art he left behind was on display for the event, telling a graphic display of his journey and struggle. Other artwork was also displayed from artists all over Michigan. In addition, there was food, prizes, music, and people to talk to. Tolgetsky's niece Megan Collins said while coordinating this event, she discovered that almost everyone she talked to had a relative or knew someone that had committed suicide.
It's hard, and if we can do something and raise money for people to have outlets and ways to get help, and then saving just one person is going to make the world a difference.
Family members put on this black tie and sci-fi event to raise money and bring light to issues that many people struggle with. People paid $10 to get in the door between 5 and 7. All money raised from the event will be donated to suicide prevention and mental health research. Tolgetsky's sister, Carrie Collins, said there does not seem to be a suitable treatment for mental illness, and the treatment that is used now seems more like torture. Mental illness affects millions of people, and suicide claims thousands of lives every year. The Alpena County Road Commission asked residents to go outside and shake it today. Their mailbox, that is. Governor Rick Snyder officially proclaimed today as the 5th annual Shake Your Mailbox Day in Michigan. The County Road Association of Michigan joined with forces with the U.S. Postal Service in this statewide campaign. Alpena County Commissioners say taking the time to tighten screws and secure mail receptacles now can prevent having to replace mailboxes and posts after the onset of winter. Although the Michigan Department of Transportation and the Alpena County Road Commission have policies in place regarding the replacement of mailboxes that were clearly hit by a snowplow, road agencies assume no responsibility for mailbox damage caused by standard snow removal operations.
The snow coming off the blade ultimately will hit the mailbox, and depending on the type of snow, especially a wet, heavy snow, the plows really are not going that fast when they're plowing snow, but they will take mailboxes off the post or knock the post over, especially if the post is rotten or not fastened down too well.
Record snowfalls in recent winters have led to an increase in the number of mailboxes damaged due to heavy snow thrown from passing plows. If your mailbox moves when shaken, it is an indication repairments or replacements need to be made before the onset of winter. Residents are also reminded it is a good time to replace or add reflective numbers to their mailboxes to allow postal workers and emergency responders to easily find their homes. Riders saddled up their horses and went for a trail ride today at Luzerne Trail Camp to benefit St. Jude Children's Hospital. Saddle Up for St. Jude is a volunteer-based fundraising event featuring horseback riding to raise money for St. Jude's Research Hospital. Horse enthusiasts across the country can sign up to hold Saddle Up events to help fight against childhood cancer and other diseases. After seeing 4-H hold a similar trail ride years back, horseback rider Liberty Landris and a friend came up with the idea to try it for St. Jude.
Just get out here and collect some money for a good cause and ride our horses, which is what we do anyway.
While some people opted out of the ride because of the rainy weather, a group of about 11 people held strong and didn't let the rain stop their effort. Each person had a pledge sheet to get as much money in donations as possible. $35 got riders a t-shirt, $75 got them a hat and t-shirt. Landris raised $174 and other participants hit close to the same in their efforts. Luckily, the weather cleared up a bit just before the group took off for their ride that lasted a little over an hour. Landris was pleased to discover the group raised $800 today. And Lewiston Elementary School was transformed into an arts and crafts bazaar today to raise money for Montmorency County's Habitat for Humanity. The craft show started about 15 years ago. It was originally held at St. Francis Church in Lewiston, but after growing to be too big for the church, moved to the elementary school. People wandered the school buying jewelry, candles, jams, and more from different vendors. Each vendor also donated one item for an hourly raffle drawing. All proceeds raised from the booth fees go toward Habitat for Humanity.
Grants are down, donations are down, money's tight. So a one-day event really helps us raise a little bit of money that, goes to a wonderful cause.
3 years ago, every available space in the school was full of vendors. The last couple of years have been down, but Habitat is continuing to push back for that goal. The money is used to help build and renovate homes in Lewiston, Atlanta, and Hillman. In order to build a new home, Habitat for Humanity likes to have at least $35,000 in their build fund. The last couple years, they have just been doing home rehabs, but the organization hopes to hit their $35,000 goal by March 1st. And the wives of 2 Tri-Town firefighters came up with an idea to raise money for the fire department, and that idea was put into action today. The first annual Firehouse Fun Crop took place today at Kittle Hall in Mayo from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Elmer Township donated the use of the hall for this event. There was a $40 fee to participate in the 12-hour crop, in which people came together to participate in some major scrapbooking. After going to several fundraising crops themselves, Donna Dabrowski and Stacy Hauk thought this would be a great way to help raise money for their husband's fire department. The Tri-Town Fire Department is wanting to raise enough money to eventually purchase a thermal imaging camera.
It helps them see, almost like seeing through walls. They can find hot spots and they can detect those to take care of areas without, really destroying more property than they need to.
These cameras usually cost between $10,000 to $15,000. The fire department has been trying to build a fund. They've been told the board will eventually match the money that they have raised for this camera. In addition to scrapbooking, the $40 fee paid for the chance to win a number of prizes donated from area businesses and multiple drawings. Donated food, lunch, and dinner was also served. The turnout wasn't quite what organizers hoped for, but they say a great group of women participated, and they look forward to doing it again next year, hopefully with some more people. And coming up next on WBKB News at 11, charges have been announced in the October 2nd murder of a prominent Sturgis accountant. Plus, iPad sales fell last quarter compared to a year ago. Find out what improvements Apple is looking to make. Those stories and more after the break. Welcome back. In state news, the St. Joseph County prosecutor has announced murder charges in the death of an accountant in Sturgis. David Losey was found dead at his Sturgis business on October 2nd. Thursday morning, the prosecutor announced a 2-count charge against Andy Brown. He is being charged with first-degree premeditated murder and felony firearm. Brown was also accused of stealing $100,000 from Losey. The embezzlement charge has been dropped as police continue to investigate. Losey's body was discovered on the same day he was set to meet with clients who said they paid their bill directly to Brown. And now it's time for some of today's top financial stories with your Money Watch. Investors will finally get a look at some economic reports that were delayed because of the partial government shutdown. On Tuesday, the Labor Department will release the September unemployment report. We'll also get figures on home sales and consumer sentiment. The New York Stock Exchange isn't taking any chances with Twitter's initial public offering. The exchange will allow trading firms to conduct a dry run of their systems to prepare for Twitter's IPO next month. The New York Stock Exchange wants to avoid the technical problems that hurt Facebook's debut on the NASDAQ Stock Exchange in the spring of 2012. The glitches were a major embarrassment for NASDAQ and resulted in a big fine. Apple is expected to unveil a thinner, faster iPad with a fingerprint sensor this week. It's hoping the revamped iPad can breathe new life into its tablet. Sales of the iPad fell 27% last quarter compared to a year ago. The iPad is Apple's second biggest moneymaker behind the iPhone. And GasBuddy.com and AAA of Michigan have put together state and local gas prices for your benefit. The highest price for gas in Alpena is coming in at $3.58 at Standard Express, a price higher than what we've seen lately in this area. The lowest is at $3.51 at Admiral. Across the state, the highest gas price is $3.79 in Grosse Isle. The lowest price for gas in Michigan is at $3.15 in Baraga. There is still much more to come on WBKB News at 11. Shannon McGrattan will be in with a look at sports, and I'll be right back to let you know if you need to start pulling out the hats and gloves. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining us tonight. Now it's time for a look at the weather. Today's high was 49 degrees. The normal high for October 19th is 55 degrees, so we were lower for this time of year. The record high for this day was 78 degrees back in 1953. The low today was 40 degrees. The normal low is 35, so we were higher for this time of year. The record low for this day was 20 degrees back in 1934. The sunrise this morning was at 7:56, and the sunset tonight around 6:42. The current temperature in Alpena is 38 degrees, but it really feels like 39 degrees. We have 82% humidity right now. Taking a look at our satellite and radar, most of that rain has passed over us. The big chunks of rain, however, we do see some precipitation that's still going to hit us, it looks like, into early next week and may continue later next week as well. Tonight, 30% chance of showers, mostly cloudy with a low of 37 degrees, southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. And if you didn't catch the full moon last night, be sure to look for the moon tonight because it will certainly still be big and beautiful. And tomorrow is going to be mostly cloudy, a high of 51 degrees, southeast winds 5 miles per hour. Taking a look into tomorrow night, it's going to be rainy, a low of 43 degrees, breezy with south winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. And now taking a look at our week ahead in our extended weather forecast, Monday showers are likely, mostly cloudy with a high of 51. We're going to drop down on Tuesday to a high of 46 degrees. Mostly cloudy, 40% chance of showers. Wednesday through Friday, it looks like it's going to be a chance of showers and mostly cloudy for the whole rest of the week. And then Friday, we will have a high of 46 degrees. And now it's time for today's photo of the day. Today's photo was sent in by Joanne Rommel from Rogers City. Joanne sent us this photo of a rainbow she saw yesterday. Although she says this picture doesn't do it justice. She says it was a double rainbow, but by the time she snapped the picture, you couldn't tell. You know what, Joanne? I saw what I would guess is the same rainbow yesterday here in Alpena. I snapped a picture from my phone, and I couldn't agree more with you that sometimes a picture just doesn't do justice for some sites like this. But nonetheless, still a beautiful picture. Thank you, Joanne, for sharing this photo with us. If you have a photo you would like to send us, email a photo along with a short description to news@WBKB11.com. And now it's time for some of today's top medical stories with your Health Watch. Researchers at Johns Hopkins believe they may be able to spot Alzheimer's years before memory loss begins. The study found people with certain proteins in their spinal fluid have a higher chance of developing the disease. Scientists hope their discovery will lead to a test so doctors can treat patients early and possibly prevent the disease. And a new study links moderate to severe psoriasis to chronic kidney disease. Researchers in Philadelphia found patients with the severe form of the common inflammatory skin disease were nearly twice as likely to develop chronic kidney disease compared to those without the disease. Severe psoriasis is defined as having 10% or more of the body's surface affected. In a study in the journal Science finds when we sleep, the brain is busy cleaning house. Researchers took detailed brain scans of mice and discovered brain cells actually shrink during sleep. This allows the brain to clear out toxins responsible for Alzheimer's and other neurological disorders. Doctors believe the same holds true in people and are planning tests to find out. And in national news, the manhunt in Florida for 2 convicted killers is over. The men who escaped from prison using phony documents were captured tonight. CBS's Bigan Shaban has the latest.
Police found Joseph Jenkins and Charles Walker at a hotel in Panama City, Florida, just 100 miles from the prison they escaped from. Authorities say no one was injured during the arrest that came just hours after family members urged the men to turn themselves in.
We just want you to surrender yourself to someone who you trust, who will bring you back in safely.
The 2 men were serving life sentences for separate murders, but both were allowed to leave the prison outside of Tallahassee after officials received forged court papers ordering their release. Jenkins' family picked him up.
We took him first to his grandmother's house, who was totally elated. She had no idea he was coming. We then took him to his mother's house.
Amazingly, earlier this month, both men followed Florida law and returned to a jail to register as freed felons. Corrections officers took these mugshots, fingerprinted them, then watched them walk out the door. State authorities realized the mistake earlier this week and launched a massive manhunt. But by that time, Jenkins and Walker were on the run. The state of Florida is now reviewing old files to see if any other inmates were released early because of forged documents. Bigad Chaban, CBS News.
Florida has already changed its release system. Now the sentencing judge has to verify he ordered an inmate to be released early. Sports is coming up next, but first Shannon McGrattan is standing by with a preview of what's ahead. I know it was a busy day for you in the sports world. Shannon, what do you have for us?
It certainly was. Ashley, the Tigers are in the bottom of the 7th, 1 on, 1 out, and they're up 2-1 against the Red Sox in the ALCS. And again, this is Game 6, so it is do or die for the Tigers. And then coming up, we're going to go south to Tawas to have an all-day volleyball extravaganza. Stay right here on WBKB News for all that and more. For some, running a 5K is difficult enough, but for 110 Northern Michiganders, they wanted to make it even more challenging this morning in 3 disciplines redneck rush at the Alpena County Fairgrounds. Participants really getting into the theme, going all out with their redneck costumes. The 5K taking between 25 and 60 minutes with obstacles every so often. Mud wasn't the only thing racers had to endure as the organizers filled pits with tires, snow, and even sand.
Well, you know, the leaves are changing. We wanted a fun fall event for people to get out, get outdoors, have some fun, you know. It's football season, but you could go out and run a 5K and get muddy and get dirty as well.
Down in Tawas, the Lady Braves hosting an all-day volleyball tournament. Tawas winning its first 5 sets against Aubrey Sims, but Kylie Gordon giving the Wolverines an early set 2 lead. Shayla Brink diving to keep the ball in play. Tawas down 4 after winning this volley, but Augrey's Jillian Farver getting 4 aces in a row, leading to this block by Emily Jo Wright. Wolverines winning set 2, tying their match with Tawas at 1 set apiece. On the other court, Alcona playing Hale in its 3rd match of the day. The Tigers pushing away from the Eagles early. Cassie Carpenter making it 11-5 Alcona. Eagles' Brooke Johnson saying 2 can play this game, finding the open space to cut Hale's deficit to 4 and end of set 1. Tigers using their passing game to win set 1 25-16 and go on to take set 2 as well, sweeping Hale this afternoon. When all was said and done, Beaverton was the overall winner in Tawas, beating Joburg in the championship game 2-0. And switching to junior ice hockey, the Alpena Street Cats getting their first road win of the season tonight up in the Sioux. Sergei Dieve had 2 goals tonight as the Cats cruised past the Firehawks, winning 5-1. Alpena will be at home next week, hosting the Sioux. A full house at the high school for 4D 2nd Street Dance Company's final show of the year. The show starting with 4 numbers featuring every style of dance, members of all ages taking the stage to perform routines they've been practicing for months.
Tonight is the big night of the year. This is the day that we look forward to all year long. We've been working hard all year.
It is a very special night because they've worked a whole entire year to perfect these routines and dances, and they are so excited because now they're all dialed up, ready to go.
In college football, the Michigan Wolverines are coming off their first loss of the season after a 4-overtime game at Penn State last week, but hoping home turf will get them back on track, picking this one up in the 3rd. Fitzgerald Toussaint, he's got the magic with his 3rd score of the game. Wolverines up 8. Minute later, Trey Robertson throwing 67 yards. Coffee Hughes catching in Russell Bellamy's helmet, but it's still good for a Hoosiers TD. Indiana down 2 going into the 4th. 3rd time's a charm for Devin Gardner. 1-2 stepping his way into the end zone, setting a school record with over 500 yards of offensive and passing, while matching a Michigan record of 5 touchdowns in a game. Wolverines winning in a back-and-forth battle with a final score of 63-47. Down in Lansing, the Spartans playing a much closer game than anticipated. 6-1 Michigan State and 1-6 Purdue, scoreless until the 2nd. Danicos Allen doing work with this fumble return. Michigan State leading 7-0 going into the half. The Spartans passing the Boilermakers 32-yard line for the first time in the 4th, allowing Tony Lippett to get tricky with it. Now you see me, Now you don't. Andrew Geikert, touchdown, Michigan State. Spartans getting their first shutout since September 2011, winning 14-0 at home this afternoon. Tigers are still up 2-1 in the top of the 8th. Last time I checked, Jacoby Ellsbury had an RBI single in the 6th, and then in the 6th inning, Victor Martinez drove in Torrey Hunter and Miguel Cabrera to make it 2-1 Tigers. They're down 3-2, like I said earlier, so tonight is a must-win for them in order to have a chance at making it to the World Series. Like always, if anything changes, I'll let you know. And I just checked my scoreboard. It's still 2-1. It's actually top of the 7th, so I lied to you. Sorry about that. And Max Scherzer has 8 strikeouts so far in the game. Moving to hockey, Pavel Datsyuk continuing to be a scoring machine for Detroit as he puts this one in the back of the net at the start of the first period. 3 minutes later, Todd Bertuzzi apparently didn't learn how to share in preschool, stealing this one, making it 2-0 Detroit after 1. But the Coyotes would come back in the second and third. It's 4-2 right now with 5:30 left in the game. And again, if anything changes school-wise, I will let you know. So another big sports night, like you said, and the games are not ending.
Going on today. No, they're not. And you know, both of those football games were exciting for me just because they both played teams from my home state. My brother's at IU, so that was a fun game to watch.
Yeah, exciting. And like I said, Tigers, if they win tonight, Game 7. And like I always say, Game 7s
now, so
Game 7s are always exciting because, you know, it's a do or die situation. So both teams come out full force. So like I said, if anything changes after the break, I'll let you know.
Well, thanks, Shannon. And coming up next on WBKB News at 11, after the Boston Marathon bombing earlier this year, find out what upcoming marathon is taking extra precaution this year. That story when we return. Welcome back. The Mankato Marathon is less than 24 hours away, and the terrorist attack on the Boston Marathon has had an impact close to home. Police and other volunteers providing security for the race will be on high alert, even if their numbers won't be increasing from last year. Sergeant Jeff Knutson said there will be a security presence the same size as there has always been, numerous officers. They bring in extra for this event, and they will be providing security at the finish line, start line, and throughout the course for traffic control and for security purposes. There has, however, been a change as far as what marathon organizers are allowing during race day. Visit Mankato President Anna Thill says all of the runners' bags that they give to the runners are the only thing that's accepted in the bag drop, so no suspicious bags can enter into the process. Organizers are asking spectators to be more alert as well, notifying security with any causes for concern. You know, it's kind of sad to see that we have to take all these precautions just so people can participate in something that they love to do now.
Boston Marathon bombings is so close to home. I still can't believe that happened.
For you it is.
Just, it's sad that you have to do that this time, but
it is.
Better safe than sorry. But good news, well, actually not good news. Tigers are down 5-2. Sorry, just kidding. Victor Martinez had Shane Victorino hit a grand slam. Sorry, I can't even read my notes. Shane Victorino hit a grand slam. It's 5-2 in the bottom of the 8th. So Tigers
what a big change in that game quick.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the David Ortiz game too. So hopefully it goes in favor of the Tigers, not the Red Sox.
Let's hope for it.
Game 7, here we come. Remember, you can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on more news items online.
Just visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
Or add us on Facebook at facebook.com/WBKBTV.
That will do it for tonight's show, but be sure to tune in tomorrow. Shannon will be back with sports, and I'll be back with your news. Have a great night.